Hi, everyone, and welcome in to this latest edition of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. I'm your beat reporter from Michigan State Spartans on SI, Aidan Champion. Today, I want to get into my predictions for Michigan State football, not win predictions, but more so statistics, because I think it's an interesting topic to look at when you consider new faces on the team and the areas that they struggled in last year and you know, everyone's wondering if they're going to improve in those areas. So I want to start with the big name, Nick Marsh. A guy everyone is very excited to see if, he takes that next step as, a guy who could potentially be one of the better, one of the best receivers in the Big Ten. And I have Nick Marsh finishing the year with at least 1,000 receiving yards. Had 649 last year, and only four Big Ten receivers did it last season, had at least 1,000. So it's, a tough feat, but that's the level I'm expecting. I'm expecting him to take a major step forward in his sophomore season. I think he's going to put the nation on notice and really cement himself as a great up and coming receiver, not just in the Big Ten, but in college football. Um, and then I don't have Nick Marsh actually leading the team in touchdown receptions. I think transfer wide receiver Krishan McCray finishes with that honor. I think he'll have more touchdown receptions than Nick Marsh. He had 9 last year for Kent State, and a guy who, guys said in spring camp that he was just a guy who made plays on the ball. I mean, that was his nickname, of course. His big play McCray, and his 9 receiving touchdowns last year were tied in the FBS for 20th. I know it's a completely different level, but I think when it comes to the red zone, he's going to be a guy that they're looking at, especially when, you get down there and defenses are going to be more so focused on Nick Marsh. I think Aiden Childs is going to look Krishan's way, and think he leads the team in touchdown receptions. Uh, Marsh only had 3 last year, and that was tied for the most on the team. Uh, wasn't all that often that Michigan State found the end zone. Obviously, was a very poor red zone offense team. Um, Looking at the defensive side of the ball, obviously Michigan State struggled mightily to get to the quarterback last year. I think that improves. I don't see it taking a big leap, but I think Michigan State finishes the year with at least 25 sacks. Had 19 last year. I just don't see you going from 19 to 30. So I'm putting it right around the middle. I think they do improve, and I don't think you have, much inconsistency in that department. Um, I wouldn't base it on the players they brought in, uh, particularly on the edge. I just think it's, something that they're going to emphasize more. And as a result, I think it's going to pan out for them this way. 25 sacks at least. That is my prediction. And then I want to go to Aiden Childs, I'm sure. Um, those of you watching that probably wondering what if I've got anything for him. I really badly wanted to predict um, that Aiden throws for 3,000. But looking at, you know, how big of a jump that would be, and considering, not many quarterbacks in this league did it last year, I just, I don't, I think that's a really big leap to take. I think he throws for at least 2,500. He was pretty close to that last year, but I think he definitely hits that mark, especially with the receivers he has now. I think though my my more bold prediction with Aiden Childs is that um, he throws for 8 interceptions. So last year, obviously, it was tied for the most in the Big Ten with 11. But here's the thing: a lot of people don't remember, and this continues to be a knock against him is his interception total. But last 7 games of the year, he only threw three. Last 3 games, he didn't throw any. And of those last seven, 5 of those he didn't throw any. So he definitely improved in protecting the football last year. And people just don't remember that, or you know, if they do, they just look at the stat. I think you have to keep that in mind. So I think he throws for 8. And I think he's more careful with the ball. I think um, his offensive line's going to be better. I think, with the receivers he has, they're going to make life easier on him. Or he's going to have plenty of options. I feel like, with how many guys he has to throw to and the level of talent there, that there's hardly ever going to be a time where somebody's not open. So I think that's going to take a lot of pressure off of him. I think he's still going to use his feet. He should. He needs to. But I think he'll, you know, have more patience in the pocket. I think he'll have better awareness. He'll understand more when to bail and when not to. I think his accuracy will improve, and that those are all things that that they're working on with him, that they have been this offseason. So I think Aiden cleans it up in the turnover department. And yeah, I got him at 8 interceptions. Um, and then lastly, looking at the ground game, I know that's a big question for everyone. It was one of um, my big questions on our last episode. Does Michigan State's run game improve? And obviously, this has not been a great run offense the past few years, not since Kenneth Walker. So I think, and this really isn't that bold. It's not that big a stretch, but I think Michigan State rushes for at least 1,500 yards. That'd be the most since the Kenneth Walker year. And Kenneth Walker even rushed for more than that by himself. Um, Last year, um, they rushed for, what was it, 1,309, 96? Yeah, nearly 1,400. So I really don't think this is a stretch. Um, and maybe not even one that worth noting, but it kind of is when you consider they haven't reached that mark in the last 3 seasons, 22, 23, 20, yeah. Um, and so I do think they make improvements in the run game. I don't think it's going to be drastic because I'm still unsure about the running back room. Um, I've said before, I like Elijah Tolliver, but I don't know if, he's the savior for this run game. They're going to be splitting up the reps between him and Tullis and Frazier. Um, Obviously, a lot of it will come down to the offensive line, which I'm very confident in. But I just think, uh, you know, I think they'll improve. But I also think there's going to be a heavy emphasis on the pass game, with Aiden expected to be improved and him having, a plethora of of great receivers, including Nick Marsh, who, as I said, I predict to record 1,000 receiving yards at least. Um, so I think the heavy emphasis is going to be on the pass game. But um, those are my predictions. I would like to, I don't feel any of those are too much of a stretch. Maybe the Nick Marsh one, um, because that's a heavy increase from last year that you got to make. But um, and maybe the McCray one. I bet a lot of people are anticipating Marsh to lead the team in receiving touchdowns. But um, there's nothing I'm looking at where I think they take them as a team take a major leap. I think it's gonna all be baby steps, and I don't think you go from zero to hero in the matter of a year. It's gonna be a gradual improvement in all areas and overall. Um, and so that's what I have. Would love to know your guys' thoughts. I feel like a lot of the fan base is kind of torn. You got the optimists and pessimists. It's the case every year. But I think it's very heavily split more so this offseason than in most in recent years, just because you're at such a crossroads here where um, there was so much potential, I feel, that was left in 2024 that fans are anticipating to see, if that if they improve or, get worse or stay the same. I know it's hard to have hope right now. I know it is. Um, but um, I would love to know your guys' predictions. I want to hear your bold ones, your bold takes. Let me know what you think about that Christian McCray one. Um, if I'm crazy or if any of you could see that happening as well, and the Nick Marsh one as well. I really do think that he goes for 1,000. Um, I see a big year coming for him. I really do. We know, we know how great he was last year, and I, expect him to be turning the corner and um, be able, be able to rely on that experience of a full year last year, and I know they're working with him. He's become a more of a student of the game, and he wants to get better. And I uh, I really do anticipate a special year for him. So, as always, thank you everybody for tuning in. Again, let me know your thoughts on these predictions, and would love to hear your own. So, um, hope you all have a great Friday and a great holiday weekend ahead. Thank you.